Okay, welcome back, everyone. I know today's Wednesday. Usually it's on a Monday. Bezat Hashem. At least we have this day. We're gonna start today with an excerpt from this pamphlet. It's called Mesilot. Comes out every week. It usually doesn't talk about Shalom Bayit. It usually talks about various different topics about the weekly parsha, weekly Torah parsha. This one happens to be in Parashat Vayera. It was a couple of weeks ago, but it really encapsulates this whole idea of marriage and why we're in a marriage, why our wives are acting the way they're acting, what do we need this for, and what we're here to do. Okay, so basically it starts that Hashem created the world, in 6 days, right? He created the heavens, the earth, so on and so forth. Okay, good, we know that. He also created all the animals. Happens to be that he created the animals, male and female. If we see in the Torah, he created the female cow, male cow. He created the female dog, male dog. And whatever he created them fully as two pairs. When it comes to man, he didn't create, male and female. He created man himself. Yeah? So we wonder, why is it that all the animals were created with a male and female, yet Adam was created solitary? Wouldn't it be nice to create a woman and a man, just like the animals? So he says, the Torah answers, and God the Lord said, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will make him a helper, which is as a kenegdo, a helper that's opposite him. Now, there's a way to explain this whole opposite, what it means, but let's leave that for that. There's a fundamental and essential difference between man and his wife, and all the other living creatures and their mates. The difference is summed up by the verse that describes the woman. She's a helper opposite him. Now, it doesn't say this about any other animal. We're also animals, but we're humans. We're speaking, thinking animal, if you want to call it like that, yeah? It says to explain, we do not demand of animals that they have a dependency on one another. We do not demand on them any emotional attachment or bond. Animals were created apart in one act, something which made a true union between them impossible, which means a female cow and a male cow have nothing but animalistic attraction to each other. When she's in heat, he comes on her in order to procreate, and that's it. And Hashem does this in order for the world to exist with many cows, many dogs, and so on and so forth. He says, the concepts such as love, desire, companionship, and expressing feelings for one another do not exist among the animals. All of this is stated, stems from the fact that God created them from the very start, completely separate from one another. That's why every single animal was created, male and female. But for the human being, God demands, look at the word he uses, he demands that the man, elevate himself above the predatory animalistic traits within him and become a true human being. A primary measure of which is Shalom Bayit, which means matrimonial harmony. A man, Hashem says, you know what? I want you as a man not to be just physical. Because honestly, for a man, the best thing is, give me food, give me money, give me sex, and I'm done. I don't need anything else. Do you need a wife? No, I don't think you need a wife. Yes, we need to have children, so we can have children with the many concubines that we might have, correct? Hashem says that's not a good thing. He says, you must take yourself out of this animalistic trait, and you have to be a kind person, which means you have to show love to your wife, which is, essentially that's what it says over here. Interestingly, Rav Shlomo Wolb, of blessed memory, he passed away, but he was a rabbi in our generation. He writes, a man who's involved in acts of kindness with a multitude of people. He lends money, he visits the sick, he helps build, synagogues, he comforts the mourners, he celebrates with the groom and bride, he puts people together. If somebody doesn't have money, he sets up, whatever he does with everybody else outside, he says that's very nice and kind. He goes, but when he goes up to heaven after 120, they're going to say, by the way, how did he treat his wife? If he made his wife suffer, if he didn't give her the fulfillment that she needed emotionally, if he behaved with her not like, he's supposed to, guess what? Everything that he did, all the tzedakah that he gave, all the goodness that he did, all the mikvahs and the shuls that he built, all the poor people that he helped, all the, husbands and wives that he put together. Like my brother recently did a whole party for a guy who's a ger. Yeah, he happened to become Jewish. Yeah, is whatever. And he set up a whole. He was getting married, so my brother set up a whole engagement party for him. He might have even paid for it. I'm not sure, but I'm saying, if you do all of that and you mistreat your wife, guess what Hashem says? You're the worst person in this world. He goes, because He brought us here only for one thing, in order for us to be able to make sure that our wives are completely fulfilled. Let's get back to the thing. It says, since God willed that man and his wife should not be separate in their essence, He therefore created the human being alone. And from within him, He formed the entirety of the woman's existence and her entire world. Which means Hashem created man. He took one rib from the man. He said, okay, this rib is going to be the woman. So imagine, this wife of yours, she's a part of you. He says, as it's stated, and Adam said, this time she's bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. This shall be called a woman, right? Since from man she was taken. In this way, their ultimate purpose can be achieved truly, completely as unity. However, there's still another thing. God said it's not enough. When Adam stood up on his feet, this was when he was alone, he looked around and he noticed every animal had a mate. The cow had a bull, the dog had a whatever, yeah? And he said, well, where's my mate? So according to one opinion, he had relations with all of them. You know what I mean? He went and had relations with this, and he said, none of these seem to be my mate because something is not normal here, yeah? The situation caused Adam to have a sense of lack. He was missing something. This feeling was an intentional device created by the Creator. Imagine, everybody in this world, 8.2 billion people in this world, yeah, some people don't get married, but the majority of people get married. No matter if you're from Uganda, you're from Russia, you're from China, North Korea, Israel, United States, wherever we go, they all get married. Why? Did you ever ask yourself, why get married? Just stay single. Even in some of the Spanish, in the Spanish countries, right, where they like to be promiscuous, yeah? What happens? They all get married. You ever wonder why? You hear? A lot. So the family base exists somehow, somewhere, and must be universal. Yeah? So he says, Hashem made an intentional device, created, right? Blessed be, in order to generate within him, within the man, an internal genuine need for a mate. Out of this lack of feeling of Adam, the Blessed One brought forth a new creation called a woman. The Creator, He wanted to create a truly whole reality of marital bond, a bond of the deepest unity between man and his wife. To the end, He created man alone so that he would feel the pain of absence, yeah? And He, Hashem, instilled in him a longing and yearning to live in the reality of togetherness, of partnership, of communication, of joy, of love and attachment. I know you're going to tell me, yeah, but all the marriages are not like this. Well, nowadays, our marriages are a little bit warped. What we've seen as, we're getting married for whatever reason, yeah, it's not the realistic ideal marriage of what we had back in the past. Back in the past, there were not many divorces, you should know. Why? Because a man had his role as a man, and a woman had a role as a woman. But what happened, he's going to mention, in the Enlightenment era, what did they say? No. A woman has to be exactly as a man. He works, she works. He struggles, she struggles. You understand? And what they did was they put the roles as a one, and now a man is technically sometimes is challenged by a woman who's technically a man. She works as hard as he does, makes sometimes more money than he does. Yeah, it's not a man versus woman thing, but the roles of a woman and a man, is, as he can explain, were completely different. Each one had their own roles. Yeah, it is then out of their yearning for completeness that man and woman were brought together. As it said, and God, Lord, caused a deep sleep, right? And He took the bone from his flesh. Good. Not only was the first woman in the world created from a man's very self, yeah, from his flesh and bones and innermost being, but every single woman is united with her husband's flesh, bone, and innermost being. Therefore, she longs for him as if he were one of her own limbs, and she requires and yearns for his leadership. You know what he says? Every single woman on this earth who's married to a man, she's connected to this man. If he does the proper things that he's supposed to do, She is so attached to him. She is so connected to him. She is so, how do you call it? What's that word I want to, meaning she needs his, Dependence, right. She's extremely, extremely dependent on him, both physically and more importantly, emotionally. Yeah, because nowadays a woman is not so dependent on a man physically. Why? She can go out and work herself. She can do many other things by herself. If she needs to fix something, she calls. Back in the days, there was no such thing as calling a super. You did it yourself as a man. Nowadays, you call a super, you call this, you call a do-it-yourself guy, whatever it is. She working, make more money. She does not need a man for any of that. What does she need a man for? Only for the emotional and support. Yeah. Thus, a married couple is not merely two separate entities, as many of us think. Why? I don't give a damn about her. Why do you think that? You know why? He's thinking, who the hell is she? I met her after, 20, 30 years. Who the hell? She comes to my life and she's going to tell me what to do? Yeah, that's what we're thinking. But guess what he's saying? He says they live together in partnership, but they're rather one entity in a true sense of the term. The more they deny and ignore this awareness, the more they will lose. And that's what happens to most of us. Why? We deny the fact that this woman is my wife. She was made for me before I was even born. You understand? So the more we deny this by saying, what the hell is her problem? What do I need her for? She's just bugging me. I don't understand what's her problem. Why does she keep telling me, oh, sweetie, 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 stop me now, leave me alone. You understand? It says the more you're going to ignore this awareness, the more you're going to lose. The more they understand and internalize this awareness, the more they will succeed. And their lives will be prosperous until they become a fount of perpetual joy. And that's exactly what. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to lie to anybody, right? For 26 and a half years, I was married. The first 6 months, it was sort of okay. After 6 months, it was like I didn't understand who this woman was. You understand why? Because I already did all my commenting and this and that, whatever. So I already broke her down from the apex that we said, right? We got married, and then I was just breaking it down. For 25 years, I didn't understand who this damn woman was. I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with her? Like who is she? I never internalized the fact that, she's my wife. Because if I did, I would protect her from my mother, who she doesn't like, because of the fact that my mother would tell her this things and that things. I would protect her from the sister-in-law, which gave her a little bit of an attitude, and I tried to protect the sister-in-law because she came in later and whatever. I was like, not really there. And she saw that and she said, I don't get it. Am I your wife or what? Why are you protecting your mother and not me? Why are you protecting your sister-in-law and not me? Why are you protecting your brothers and not me? Why are you making your job important and not me? I don't get it. Am I your wife or what? And this is the breakdown that caused the major, major disaster in my family. It was major disaster, you don't understand. Until I realized through this book that the woman is number one. What do you mean number one? She's your flesh. What he's saying, she is your flesh. She is you. And the more you hate her, guess what? You hate yourself. And intrinsically, if a person understands this and he internalizes, he says, wow, you're right. I do hate myself. Why? Because you would never treat this individual if you love yourself. Because a person that's a upstanding person, that's respectable, that has dignity, that has, all the niceness, right? Is he going to curse somebody? Would never do that. He would never curse an individual. I don't care who he is. I don't care if he's the worst person on earth. You know what he would do? Sorry, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't like your behavior. I don't like your attitude. I cannot be in your presence. And he's going to nicely, respectfully remove himself from the presence of this individual. But if you're a lowlife, and if you're a coward that comes from the streets, and you don't know how to talk, and you don't respect yourself, you know what you're saying? At this, that, and you're going to screw at this person. You know why? Because you just showed this person who you really are. You're a major bad person for using that kind of language. I mean, if we really think about it, no dignified individual is going to start cursing. Absolutely not. He's going to say it nicely, no matter how bad that other person is. He's going to say it nicely. He's going to, I'm sorry, sir, or ma'am, or whatever it is. Yeah. I do not want to be in your presence. I want to excuse myself. Wow. That's, you know what that is? I get calls of wives cursing their husbands out, of telling them, you're a bitch, you're this, you're that. I'm like, why would you say that to your husband? Oh, because he didn't want to help me. Okay, but does that deserve, does that deserve this kind of language? So what does she show? she showed that she is as low as the way she speaks. And that's not nice. A man does not want that. A man wants his wife to be, a respectable young lady. You understand? And when she talks like trash, it's a problem. But where does that happen? When the husband talks like trash to her. Meaning he started. Yes, he doesn't do that now, right? But he did it before. So now he wants to fix his mouth, but her mouth is already messed up. Here, and we have to go through a slow progress of trying to bring her into a better mouth. Now, let's continue. He says, as noted on the sixth day of creation, a one-time and extremely unique event occurred. Adam and Chava were married on the same day of their creation, right? Adam was created, she was taken from his rib, and then so that was really a true unity, right? Because he saw, or at least he felt, that, wow, this was the bone of my bones. However, of course, for their descendants of all mankind, this is not the case. Many long years pass until a man and a woman marry and establish their home together. The reason for this is there are fundamental differences between a man and a woman, which could prevent them from achieving true unity. Therefore, God arranged things such that in their younger years, they each walk along their own path of a life until they reach the emotional maturity necessary for establishing a home. Unfortunately, and I'm going to say that again, no matter how old we are, 25, 30 years old, we don't get to this maturity level in order to establish a home. We don't. This is a sad reality nowadays, and that's why we're getting many divorces nowadays. That's why we're getting many people because we do not know how to handle this young lady that's in front of us. We thought we did. When we went out, we thought we were making all the right moves. And then when we get married, she says something to us, and all of a sudden it's a breakdown. By the way, we've been saying that you got to be a man, Many people understood that they telling me, oh, you telling us we always have to say, oh, yeah, sorry, oh, yes. Chas v'sholom. I never said that. I never said you should be, oh, yeah, sorry, no. There are certain things you're supposed to say, yes, ma'am. For instance, I woke up 4:45 in the morning as usual. I went through my day. I learned in the morning. I went to teach. 12 o'clock I went to work. I worked hard. I came back. As I'm driving, I'm exhausted. My wife tells me a list. Please give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me that. Now imagine me, I'm driving, it's like 6 o'clock, right? And I'm thinking, I can't wait to get home because I have another class at 8 o'clock, right? I want to come home, eat and everything like that. So what do I want to answer her? What do I want to answer? Can you get it, please? I mean, she's in Zuma right now, yeah? She has time, comes home 4 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah? She got up at 7:30, 3 hours after I got up, right? She went to work for only, 5 hours or whatever. The point is, she had time to get it, right? What's my reaction? Why don't you go get it yourself? Which I would have back in the years. You know what I answered? And I would show you the text, but it's on live. Yes, my love. Why? I'm a man. That's a man. A man is going to work hard like a dog, yeah? And she's going to give you a list. Yes, my love. If she gets me a list right now, and we finish here at 10:30, and I got to go out of it, while she's in bed, she says, by the way, you forgot the eggs and the cheese? Okay, my love, you got it. Why? That's a man. And when she sees that, you know what she's done? She's never going to disrespect this man ever in her life. Why? Because that's a man. But a wuss, you know what he's going to say? Go get it yourself. You know what I did today? I got up 4:45 in the morning and I did this and I did that. And you tell me to go shopping? What are you doing all day? I don't get it. Plus you went to Zumba and you did your guitar lessons. Do I need your guitar lessons? What kind of, benefit do I get from your guitar lessons? Correct? Is that a man? In our warped, mind frame, that's a man. The one that gave it to her. The one that said, pa, pa, right? Meanwhile, he's going to have shalom bayit problems. She hates the guts out of him. She's not going to sleep with him for a couple of days or weeks. And like that, he goes on and on and on because he's not doing this just this weekend. Just this week. He does that every week. Because every morning he gets up 4:45. And every day he works. And every other, whatever, he has a class and whatever. So he's always busy. So when is he going to be a husband? When is he going to be that good husband? That's a man. Never. But if he always says, yes, my love, no problem, I got you. You know what she's thinking? Oh, these guys, man of steel, yo. These guys, that's a man I want to love. That's a man I want to have relations with every time he wants and when I want. That's a man I want to cook for. That's a man I want to die for. None of us will take a bullet for our wife. None of us. But we have to do that. We get married I will take a bullet for you. You kidding me? Which one? We'll put her in front of the bullet. Shoot, keep shooting, my friend. She's still alive. Keep shooting. Right? Be honest. What? Sure, he says. But let's get back together. See, a man is a person who's not going to break down at the most difficult moments. And by the way, you think it's random? No. Hashem said to her, okay, my friend, let's see this Mr. Yakubov. Let's see how strong he is. Send him a text while you're driving 1 hour in traffic, snow, this and that. He's very tired. He wants to get home, eat, because he didn't eat all day. Because why? She doesn't prepare me lunch. She hasn't prepared me lunch for years, which I don't mind. It's okay. I don't need it. I got used to not eating, which is good. I'm a little bit too fat anyway, And I didn't get breakfast anyway, also, right? Because I get out in the morning, whatever. So no formal breakfast, no formal lunch, right? You're driving home tired all day. You're up 4:45 in the morning until what? Oh, that's already 12 hours because 4:45 in the afternoon, that's 12 hours. Plus I had another 2 because it was 6:30, right? So I'm up 14 hours in a day, right? And I still got another, whatever. That's a man. So when I say, I don't mean to say, yes, ma'am. No, chas v'shalom. But when you got moments like this, could I do it? I did it. I swirled around, 63rd, stopped my car, 15 minutes, went in, got the whatever item she needed, brought her home. You think she even saw it? She wasn't home when I came. She wasn't home. Huh?
What about situations when, and I'm sure most guys do this, they do what you say, then you get back, you leave it, and she's not satisfied.
Why she's not satisfied? Because there are other times in a day where you say things that are not satisfying.
No, assuming everything is fine.
It's not. It'll never happen. See, with matrimonial situations, it's a 1 + 1 = 2. I kid you not. Why? I tried it on myself. I've been helping the couples. They tell me that's how it is. If they follow what they're doing, what they're said to be doing. You understand? By the way, none of the couples that I'm helping is a mop. Chas v'shalom. He's still a man. He still provides. He still thinks, whatever. But he says, wow, now I understand what you're talking about. Because now he understands these are people who 2 months ago wanted a divorce, both of them. Now if you ask me, want a divorce? No, I'm good. I'm good. Why? You told me what to do. I did not know what to do. I didn't know what to do for 25 years. Baruch Hashem, they're only married 2 years. Some married 5 years. Some married 10 years, right? But they're saying, oh, now I know what to do. Okay? But let's continue. He says, right? So therefore, God arranges things such that in their younger years, they reach, they walk along the path, emotional maturity necessary for establishing a home. None of us has that because we're never taught by our parents. Our parents had terrible marriages. You understand? And we took what our parents did and we either improve it by trying to become a little better or do the same thing, if not worse than what our parents did. You hear? So it says, to enumerate a few of the differences. Number 1, man was created as a leader, whereas the woman was created as a follower. By her very nature, a woman needs to be led. In other words, a woman needs her husband to be a strong leader. Yeah, a man with a backbone and an upright bearing on whom she can rely on every single time. Every single time. But I did the shopping last week. And guess what? She wants it this week and she wants it tomorrow and she's going to want it next week. Eventually it's going to end. When? These are all small tests. Eventually she's going to say, I can't do that to him. I don't want to lose my husband on, bad health or whatever. So she's going to step up. Why? When she sees that he's a man, he doesn't say anything, right? There are certain things you have to be a man and say things. For instance, we were in Miami. She said, I want to go to the beach. I said, we don't go to the beach. I can't go to the beach. She goes, okay, I want to go to the beach. I said, okay, you can go to the beach. I'll drive you to the beach. You let me know, I'll pick you up. And that's what I did. I drove her to the beach with the daughters. They went sun tanning and I stayed in the back. Whatever, I went and I did my things. You hear? So number 1 difference. She wants a leader. You're a leader. She wants to be a follower. A man needs to be given his place, right? A man needs his place. And be allowed to express his identity and leadership in the home. Of course, this also means that he must be honored and afforded and respected due to him, meaning she has to give you that. But when does she give you that? When you give her respect. There's no way any man that's asking for respect from his wife, guess what? He doesn't respect her. I am number one candidate for that. For years I was saying, you don't respect me. What kind of woman are you? I do I pay for all the bills. You don't even know your car insurance, your telephone. No, she still doesn't know. I did all that. And I do this and I do that. And I did even laundry and I do that. You don't respect me. Why? Because I didn't respect her with my mouth. I debased her, right? Systematically broke her down. As the class in the morning we said, you cannot break your wife down systematically. We, with our words, with our comments, with our negative criticisms, with our sometimes chas v'shalom cursing, we break her down systematically where she feels like she's nobody. What am I doing in this world? To her, the world collapses when she does not have a husband that supports her. He says, difference number 2, man's primary place of authority is the realm of intellect and reason, known in Hasidic teaching as chokhmah, bina, and da'at. Yet conversely, the woman's primary place is the realm of a heart and emotions, known in Hasidic teaching as chesed and gevurah and teferet. So we are more intellectual. They're very emotional. We cannot expect our wife to intellectually understand things that we want to explain to her. I tried that for years, it doesn't help. By them, they're very emotional. Their emotions kick in right away. And therefore, we cannot be upset at, what the hell's wrong with you? What are you, like a child? I don't understand. How do I didn't marry a kindergarten. Yo, I married a woman. Well, guess what? Every single woman is an emotional being. It says, accordingly, it is the husband's role to be responsible, fulfilling, and satisfying his wife's emotional needs, both by ensuring that she is constantly feels loved, constantly, he bolds that, and desired by her husband, meaning she has to feel constantly, every single day, 5 times, 10 times a day, that he loves me and he desires me. Yeah? Yeah. And by making certain she knows well that her husband loves her, accepts her, and appreciates her as she is. Which means if she's retarded, chas v'sholom, right? That's how I love you. Yeah? He says, without any preconditions or demands for change. Do you understand what he's saying? By the way, he's not the only one that's saying this. He says this. The book that we're doing right now in Hebrew says this. Rav Zamir Cohen says this. Every other book in the Jewish library says this. Your wife, you got to accept her as she is. You, on the other hand, have to change. Why is that? Why I have to change and she doesn't? Because when you change, she changes. Hashem created the marriage in such a way, I guarantee you personally, I've told people, my friend, $5,000 on the line. I'm willing to lose $5,000, but you got to do what I tell you. Most men cannot. Why? There's an ego issue. There is, what about me issue? How could it be that I'm the one that has to work? Why did I go shopping today? Because I'm the man. I went shopping because I'm tired. Yes, I'm the man. She expects her man to do it. You got it. Sometimes she does it, no problem. But today she said, please, can you do it? No problem. Zumba. I don't care. That's what she needs to do. Guitar lessons. That's what she needs to do. That's a true man. And a woman like this, when she has a man like this, she's going to love him head to toe. Kiss my feet, she'll kiss my feet. Literally. I don't do that because I don't need that. You understand? Listen to this. So imagine, I'm just going to repeat this again. He says that he's obligated to make sure that he's obligated, that she knows that you love her, that you accept her the way she is, that you appreciate her, yeah, for who she is without preconditions or demand for change. Now on this he has a footnote. He says a Jewish home must be run as follows. The intellectual leadership of a home should be exercised by the man, and the emotional leadership should be exercised by the woman. However, in homes where the wife provides the weight of logic and reason, and the husband provides the weight of emotions, the home is unstable and liable to collapse. Heaven forbid. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about, guys, why you don't treat me so nice? Why you don't respect me? How come you don't do breakfast for me? How come you don't do lunch for me? Why you don't make me feel happy? There are men like that, by the way. Yeah. She says something to him. Yeah. Again, they're emotional. So she says something to him, or she gives him an attitude. All of a sudden, he breaks down. That's what he's talking about. My friend, you cannot break down. She's the emotional one. If you're going to be emotional now, guess what? Two women married in the house. Yeah? He says, a couple who wishes to succeed together in a happy life and to raise upright, blessed, and radiant children must be very careful to each have their proper place. The man with the role of intellect and reason, and the woman with proper emotion. You hear? Likewise, the proper approach must also be applied towards the children. Yeah, and he says, by the way, you have to raise the children proper way. But what he's saying is, you as a man have to understand that she is 100% emotional human being. You cannot fix her. You want to say something? You cannot fix her by using logic. Let me explain to you. I used to do that. I used, before I knew these books, I used to be the most, by the way, I'm very logical. I love to, we can have a conversation over here. And I used to tell her, and I used to see her face like, wow, she understands me. She understands. And then she would say something out of the mouth. I'm like, oh my God. And I said, you're retarded. I'm sorry, but you're retarded. She would get furious. Why? Because I was like, I thought she understands what I just explained to her. I did this, and I'm saying, you right? You understand? Yeah. And then it comes back. But why does it have to be like this? I'm like, what the hell did I just explain 1 hour for? 1 hour I just explained why it has to be like this. You asking me why it has to be like this? You didn't hear me for 1 hour? No. You know why? They're emotional. They work with their emotions. No logic. No, he says it right here clearly. I'm not going to lie to you. You want to come read this. What did you want to ask?
You said that the man can also be the emotional, but the woman will always tell you, she'll be like, yeah, you can tell me anything, whatever's on your mind, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why I tell you, do not tell her the truth. She can't handle it. She cannot handle it. You have to be always, in her eyes, you never get sick, even though you could be dying. You never get tired. You up 16, 17 hours a day. Well, you think she doesn't know I get up 4:45 in the morning and I go to sleep 12? She sees it every day. Every day, by the way. She sees it. Well, she doesn't know the person is up 20 hours or 19 hours a day.
She's used to it.
She's used to seeing it?
Yeah.
She's like, it's normal for him.
Yeah.
Hey, he's this man of steel.
Yeah.
You're right. But you know what? And that's exactly what they think. That's exactly what they think. So listen to this. Difference number 3. Man is by nature akin to a minister of exterior, which means we have to be outside. With the woman akin to minister of the interior, the woman's natural place is in the inner sanctum of her home. As the verse says, your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the innermost parts of the house. By the way, for the woman, her house is the most sacred thing in the world. You know, when we had the Beit HaMikdash, we have what's called Kodesh Kodashim. It was the Holy of Holies. Anybody that goes in there during the year dies, automatically dies. Kohen Gadol would go in there one time on Yom Kippur with a chain on his foot, which means why? Because when he would have a bad thought, boom, he dies also. He has to be fair. For a woman, her house is the Beit HaMikdash. You cannot bring anybody there. I don't care who the person is, unless she wants him there. And the bedroom is Kodesh Kodashim. It's the most sacred thing to her. When somebody comes in, it's a violation of her privacy. No, you don't understand how serious that is. And it's not by one woman. Every single woman is like that. Even the Goyim, by the way. Even the Goyim. Yeah? If a woman constantly desires to leave her home, it is a clear sign of an unhealthy state of management of her home and her own soul. A sign that she's living with a great void and she is not reaching her true self or her full potential at all, which means she's emotionally drained. And that's why she's going to ask you, I need this, I need that, I need help, I want to go out, I don't want to, I need this, The poor woman is dead. She's a walking woman, but she's dead inside. He says, God, may he be blessed, created her with a modest and private nature. All glorious is the princess within, meaning she has to be inside. If a woman's consoled desire is to go out and be seen among people, this is a clear sign of her inner deficiency and the beginning of a personal ruin. He says, number 9, although it is often inevitable that a woman must bear with her husband the yoke of the home and livelihood, it is clear that this is not her role. Many men say, you got to go to work. We can't do the finances. I have couples. Says, no, she's got to go to work. I said, but that's not her job. You have to be the man. You have to find. Nope, I cannot. I cannot. She has to go to work. He says, he obligated himself in the ketubah to 10 things. I will sustain her. I will support her. I will provide for her with this. Whereas she did not obligate herself to anything. The ketubah doesn't say anything about her. 0. He says, rather, she shares the burden with him out of the feeling of partnership and belonging, out of love between them. That's why she cooks for you, she does your laundry, but nowhere is she obligated to do that. Yes, sir.
Is she obligated to give you children?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When is she obligated to give you children? When she's emotionally fulfilled and she wants to give you children. You are obligated to have children. The Torah demands a man must have children, but nowhere does it say a woman must have children. So, but she's the one who's only with the children. So guess what Hashem does? Yes, sir. So now you have to appease her to the point where she's going to say, I want to have children with you. And there are women who say that. I have guys who say, no more, no more. She's on her 5th. I have guys who say, no more. She's like, what do you mean? He's telling me no more. I wanted to have children. But you know what? My wife said, no, no, no. She always said, I had to give her all these kind of ruses and whatever. You know what? I wasn't emotionally fulfilling her. Baruch Hashem, without emotionally fulfilling her, Hashem gave us 5 kids. If I would have been a man enough to emotionally fulfill her in these 25 years, I might have 11, 12 kids. You understand what I'm saying? That's crazy. I would have loved that. You know? I don't know if I'm going to financially be able to do that, but he says, this is one of the great distortions created by the Enlightenment movement, emphasizing the importance of a woman building a career for herself, disconnecting her from her personal world, turning her essence, which involves modesty and discreetness and her respect status, into some preoccupied day and night with external matters that do not belong to her. How many women work and do whatever they have to do? This is ridiculous.
So you gave the example, like when you were in Florida.
Yeah.
Your wife wanted to go to the beach. You didn't want to.
Yeah.
Imagine a scenario, your wife wanted to work.
And you don't want her to.
Not just because of the type of work. Or
right.
The shift time.
100%. You were not fulfilling her emotionally. That's why she couldn't give a damn about you. But if you were a man who emotionally fulfilled her, truly, she would never do anything against you. Even this beach thing, by the way, don't think. I'm not 100%. I have a lot of faults. I'm like you guys, learning this, working on myself every single day. You think I didn't want to tell this text today that came 6:40? Why didn't you do it yourself today? Oh, I wanted to do that very bad. But I said, no, mister, you're teaching other people. This is not what he would want you to answer. And therefore, I give you a good example. We went on vacation for, 4 or 5 days. And 4 or 5 days, I didn't have a class, which means I wasn't teaching, which means I wasn't reading. Guess what? By the 6th day, I started giving comments, which I wasn't supposed to. And she noticed that. She's like, yo, where did these comments all of a sudden came from? And I caught it. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Can you imagine, for the past almost year, every single week, every single day, I've been on my game. I've been teaching, I've been recording, I've been this, I've been that. This has been like, going in my head, la, 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 la. And I felt because for 5 straight days, I didn't learn. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday night was when I gave her the compliments. I remember we went to whatever. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sorry. Monday we went, right? So Thursday I didn't. Friday I wasn't in class. But still, that period of time, I started getting loose. And I started giving all kinds of, comments. So it goes to show that we must work on this every single day. We must. If we don't, we're going to fail. Back to our thing. Difference number 4. By nature, a man tends more towards the spiritual, whereas a woman, by nature, is towards the physical. God created them in this manner so that the woman can take upon herself the yoke of managing the household, the daily affairs, the caring of the children, without any distractions, meaning cannot take care of the children. When your wife is asking you for help, you know what that means? She's very drowned from the fact that you don't give her emotions. So she wants to pull you into the emotional world by telling you, can you help me please with this? Can you help me please with that? Can you help me please with this? Why? Because I don't get it from him. So maybe this way I can feel like he's part of me. And he says, don't bother me. I'm at work. Don't bother me. Don't send me a text. You should have done it yourself. Here? Like the list is also, it's part of the thing that I need your, yes.
How do you know when she's genuinely tired?
So you know what? News to you, a woman is never tired. No, 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 listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, my friend, listen to me. I'm telling my friend because I don't want to put your name, we're on live, whatever. When you fulfill your wife, when your wife says, I'm so tired, I can't, and you say like this to her, go take a rest, don't worry, sleep, whatever. Don't ever tell her to rest. Say, wow, I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how to do it. Where do you get your strength? It's so difficult on you to give her affirmation. Say, my love, I don't know how you do. Give her a fulfillment of, yes, I know you're tired. Is there something I can do that? When you do that, you know what she does? Second wind, let's do all the dishes. Let's start, and then you know what you're supposed to do after that? Wow, amazing. You were tired and you still did that? We have to be good showmen. You know what a showman is? I don't want to say actors, because it's not acting. It's a real man. A real man, you know what he does? Imagine you have employees in your job. You know what you do to the employee? Wow, Carlos, молодец. Yehuda, yo, I don't know how you did that. Let me tell you something. I have a girl, my last one. Sometimes she's on a lazy side, but she does do a good chicken in the oven. So yesterday my wife goes, listen, can you tell him to cook something good? They didn't have school. I took the phone. I was like, yo, babe. I told her, I was like, the chicken you make, out of this world. I don't know how you. She's like, Dad, stop. Mom also makes the same shit. I said, no. Your chicken is unbelievable. I said, and the rice you make, you know what she did? She made such a chicken, such a rice. And I told her, can you make some kind of salad? So she saw there was no vegetables, so she made a fruit salad. Why? I didn't stop praising her. I was like, yo, that's crazy. Now she's waiting to do another meal. If I tell her, allo, zdeli, it would never happen. And then when I come and I eat, wow, that was good. Thinking she's going to know because I'm never going to do it. Now she's waiting. Opportunity to cook another meal. Today, she goes, Dad, are you good? I said, no, make the same rice again as yesterday. And she did it. It was again good because my wife cooked. But when you give a woman in your house, a wife, this same type of compliment, I guarantee you, energize a bunny. I don't need any help. I don't need any woman here. I don't need anything. We are idiots for not being able to talk to our wives the way we're supposed to in order for them to do what they want to do. They want to serve you. They want to cook you breakfast, lunch, dinner. They want to take care of the baby. But when they're emotionally drained, I can't, I don't have, and you know what? They don't. Why? Because the emotional support that you give them with words, with kind words, with affirmation is a big one. Affirmation is such a big one. I never understood. My wife went, you never affirm my feelings. What the hell is that? I never understood what that is. Until now, I said, wow, it's crazy, Oh my God, I have such pain over here. So back in the days, I'd be like, what the hell is that? What is that? There's nothing there. It would be, oh, balid. Now you go, wow, yeah, sure, it's crazy. I don't even know what I'm looking at. But, I'm giving you a real example. My wife said she had zanoza, whatever that is, right? Oh, wow, yeah. She forgot about it after 5 minutes. Doesn't even exist. Why? You affirmed her sickness or whatever it is. Same thing with any woman. I'm drained, whatever. Yes, I know. What do? Get out of here. I'm too busy working. Leave me alone. Don't you see what I'm doing here? She goes, she's thinking, what the hell? This is a maniac. This guy doesn't love me. This guy he wants to kill me. That's what she's thinking. Every woman is thinking that. But when you affirm her feelings, yes, my love, it'll only take you 5 minutes.
My wife went blind today for an hour.
Why?
I don't know if she's fine now.
Yeah. Do you know what you're supposed to say? You're supposed to say, my love, you know what's going on. Da, 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 da. Affirm her feelings. Listen, you have, whatever, but you got to start from today on affirming her feelings. Whatever she says, yeah, wow, I do understand you. Just say, I understand you. By the way, you did that one time and she was flabbergasted. You said to her, I understand you. I think she won like the gold medal, Yeah.
They don't want solutions, they just want her to hear.
Exactly. They don't need solutions. The best thing to do, like this. When she says, an A, B, C, D, D, V, oh, wow, you're A, B, C, D, E, G, E? Wow, I hear you, I understand you. Finished. You're good. Now just keep quiet. Don't say anything. And if she says, but I'm like this, for God, say, wow, I really understand that. Wow, I don't know how strong you are about that, That's it. She'll walk away. You're good. You're a winner. She's a winner. Everything is good. She's busy doing her things. After an hour, she comes back. Same exact thing. Then she'll leave you alone. My husband is with me. But when you don't do that, it's going to come from this angle, from that angle, from this angle, from that angle. Help me. I can't. Please do this. What kind of useless person you are. This, that. And you're going to word her and this and that. At least he's giving me attention like this. But you don't want that attention. I know, but at least he's giving me attention like this. You understand? So all we got to do is talk nice to them. Listen to this. He says, conversely, since his primary task in this world involves the wisdom of the Holy Torah, which inevitably he feels the pangs of consciousness that he's done too much in the household duties, his place is none other than in the confines of the shul, right? He wants to be, some people are not in the shul, but they're more in the business. That is to say, while both of them may be capable of being in their setting, right? Both the homes and whatever, a woman feels more natural and comfortable at the home, where she attains a sense of fulfillment of her soul and a sense of well-being. You should know that when a woman serves her husband in her home, she feels fulfilled. When does she not feel fulfilled? When she does it and there's no, there's no appreciation. They hate that. I told you about the laundry case. I had one couple that she does the laundry, but she doesn't put it away. Yeah? And what happens is I told her, can you please put it away? She goes, no, if I do that, he's going to think it's the maid. And he's not going to say, thank you. I said, don't worry, just do it. And what happened? She did it. No thank you from him. So after like a month or whatever, I called to find out how things are. And I mentioned the basket case. She goes, you know what? This week I left it alone. I said, why? He never says thank you. I said, but why would you need that? I need it. You see, imagine these women are very self-sufficient, but they need the thank you from the husband. They cannot. So I said, oh, okay, listen. I said, please just do it. I called him. I said, yo, idiot. Has your laundry been put in place? He goes, yeah. I thought the maid did it. I said, maid did not do it because she comes once a week. I said, it was your wife. He goes, get out of here. I said, did you even say thank you to her? She said, no. I said, you better come home, somehow say, yo, who's been putting the, whatever. And then you thank her to the max that, whatever, so she can be doing it. Because he was bothered. Why she washes it, folds it, but doesn't put it in the cubby. Or whatever, in the thingy. I said, so to him, I said, what's the big deal? Just put it. No, that shows lack of care. I said, but she does your laundry. She folds it. Yep, but she should also put it back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's working hard, whatever, he brings the money and what. I understand that. So he wants that. I got it. But he didn't say thank you, huh? I know, but he wants her to do that. Show affection. See, that man is acting like he's a show affection. Here. So he says over here that when a man is made to do woman's thing, honey, can you help me with the dishes? He does not want that. It's not in his role to do that. You understand? So therefore, he says that it's not fitting for him to do that. But when is she going to make him do that? When there's no connection. When there is no connection, I guarantee you she's telling you, hello, stay away from the kitchen. Stay away from my duties because these are my duties. Difference number 5. Man's body is by nature less dependent on material needs. By contrast, the woman has more physical needs. The husband is obligated to take her needs into account and to be extremely sensitive to provide for them in a timely manner and in a good will. She has many needs. One of them is the emotional need to be known that I'm your husband and I love you. This is the constant thing they need. Why didn't you tell me you love me? Yo, my yo. How many times? Don't you see? I'm around you. I have no friends. I everything I do, I work. Everything is for you and for the kids. You don't see I love you? No, you don't tell me. They need to be told. That's why on the phone, my love, I'm thinking about you. Today, out of nowhere, I also got busy. I was like, oh, my wife, hey, sweetie, how are you? She goes, I was just thinking that you didn't contact me. No, I'm thinking about you right now. Kilo, whatever, yalla. You made the check. She feels happy. You feel happy. You're good to go. You hear? One example among the most important needs of a woman's soul, is the need for jewelry. The husband commits in the ketubah, I will nourish and sustain her and support her. Support here refers to jewelry. When I used to hear that, I'd be like, what kind of baloney is that? Is the Torah like, on the woman's side? What do you mean, I gotta bring jewelry? And I'm in the jewelry business. Understand? I was like, that's not normal. But you know what? Every woman has this yearning for jewelry. It's an inborn thing that they need to adorn themselves. And you know what? At the proper times, engagements, birthdays, this, that, we gotta give them this. He says it's a thing that they need. Similarly, a woman has a strong need for privacy and a space of her own. This is no way to diminish her love and emotional closeness to her parents and immediate family. That's why a lot of guys say, what? Why her family we gotta go to and my family not? By the way, all people are like that. People always think it's just my wife. No, every single couple, to her family, we gotta go. To his family, we don't need to. You hear? It's not fair, right? But he says it over here. She feels closeness to her family. She does not carve out a quiet private corner for herself to distance herself from them, from her parents, but rather to grant herself mental peace and tranquility. She needs to be tranquil. If God forbid this need is not met, the stability of the home may be in real danger. It is clear then that those people who go to live with their parents in order to save money for a house are severely damaging the privacy of their home, which is the base and foundation of the entire home. Many people who live near or in with their parents, with his parents, major disaster. One must remember, it is a great mitzvah to live at one's parents' home until marriage. It is necessary and it's sacred duty. He says to live with them. But after marriage, and not 1 minute before, a new chapter of life begins. Therefore, a man shall cleave to his father and mother, and then when he gets married, he cleaves to his wife, and they should become one flesh. His parents out. You understand? It says over here, difference number 6, and we're almost done. A woman's soul yearns to hear words of appreciation and compliments from her husband. And every man is obligated to show proper appreciation to his wife. Look at the words he's using. Obligated. Why? She cannot be without this. He says it must be emphasized. A husband's appreciation is the inner life force of his wife. By you saying, wow, that breakfast you made me, like this, like over exaggerated, right? Yeah, I feel like I'm in like the highest restaurant in this planet. You know what she's thinking? Yo, what the heck? I'm gonna do that every single day. She's gonna be innovatively looking to see what I can do for this man. You hear? So he says over here, without it, functioning is impossible. Do you hear what he's saying? Yeah? Sorry. He says this appreciation is like fuel to the soul. Just like gasoline for a vehicle, he says appreciation of the wife and what she does is the life force of her soul. He says it's impossible for her to function without it. And living is nearly impossible. She cannot live without that. That's why when you see a dead wife, always depressed and everything, she doesn't need pills. You know what she needs? Appreciation, affirmation, words of love. Why would you want to put your wife in pills where she's going to be worse condition with these stupid pills, right? When all you got to do is give her nice words. Don't treat her bad. Talk nicely to her. Give her that affirmation of what she wants to feel. Thus, a husband who does not offer verbal appreciation to his wife is acting with cruelty. A husband's appreciation for his wife is akin to watering a tree One cannot expect the tree to grow and bear fruits without proper system of irrigation. Every woman is deserving of endless appreciation. There are infinite virtues and praises with which to elevate and commend her. Infinite. You know what he's saying? Infinite. You could say so many things. I challenge any man who has a wife that's not in a good position as far as like matrimony is concerned. Start from today. Today's Wednesday. Every single day, every single hour or so, you tell her, she's such an amazing woman. You know, I'm the most luckiest man that I married you. I'm so happy that you gave us a child. It brings us close together. I feel such a bond to you. You know, every time I look at you, my world just opens up. I've been such a fool talking to you nasty, this and that. Shame on me. And like this, day after day after day, you're not gonna recognize your wife. She's gonna become a completely different woman. You're gonna be like, what the hell who is this woman? You're not gonna recognize her. He's telling you.
I think, don't some women get turned off by that also?
Absolutely not. Again, you have to
Maybe
know.
like more mature women. I feel like younger generation.
You have to. Which one you're saying is gonna be? My wife is 50 years old
I'm
almost.
saying younger generation be like, you do it too much.
They need it. There's women right now screaming that they don't have enough. Listen, if you give them enough, I'm not saying anything. But we have women who are starving and are choked with no appreciation at all. Not a little bit. Zero appreciation. So I challenge those guys. And I tell them, listen, guys, 1 week, you're going to see a different woman. Already by the first day, you're going to be seeing a different woman. But if you got it, the thing is consistency. The most important thing in matrimony is consistency. We have to be consistent what we're doing. If you did it for 1 day, 2 days, and you knock her with your stupid words on the third day, you're dead. The 2 days you worked, it's like nothing. In real estate terms, you build a foundation, you're building a foundation, you're breaking it. You're building it, you're breaking it. You're building it, you're breaking it. What are you building? When do you want to pick this building up? Last part, difference number 7. It's easier for a man to be punctual about time than a woman. One must be aware of this punctuality, right? Because a lot of times we get upset. One may plan to leave at a certain time, and when the time arrives, she's still not ready. Simply knowing this is a cure. Once a husband understands this, he knows not to get upset with her, with her timeliness, and to be patient. To summarize, God created man and woman in a special manner and form, endowing them with distinctive qualities that differ utterly from one another. Meaning, he says, man and woman, completely different. To each of them, Hashem assigned an individual role, yet their single shared purpose is to complete one another. He says, the Holy One, blessed be He, pairs every man with the wife suited to him in accordance with his root of his soul and a particular configuration of his traits. And this is decreed even before the formation in the mother's womb. You hear what he says? Every one of us here, my wife, your wife, his wife, was specifically tailored for exactly what you need before you even placed in the mother's womb. As stated in the Gemara in Sotah, Rabbi Yehuda said, in the name of Rav, 40 days before the formation of the fetus, a heavenly voice goes and says, the daughter of so-and-so is going to get married to this man. A person attains wholeness only when he is married to his wife and when they each invest their mind and heart in one another. And the only way we can do that is by treating the wife with respect, by giving her the affirmation she needs, by not, commenting and criticizing on what she does, by for sure not cursing her, to make sure that she knows that you love her, that you care for her, that she's a human being, that you value her and everything that she does. Once you fulfill this woman like this, she will compliment you, and you guys will have a beautiful life. Once you do not do this, it's going to be the worst thing, worse than hell. And there's I don't know, there's nothing worse than having, major complications in a marriage because of not knowing these facts. I'm going to stop this here because I do want to have this separately.